Hello everyone and welcome to Crypto Chris YouTube channel. The world is shifting faster than ever, economies, markets and even governments are moving in a ways we can never seen before. And right in the middle of it all, there is Bitcoin and the crypto. What's interesting is that while institutions, companies and even governments are turning ultra bullish on crypto, a lot of people from the industry are feeling nervous, skeptical and almost bearish. Why is there such a divide? And how did one strange Twitter prophecy perfectly predicted Bitcoin close down to the dollar? Let's dive into what's happening behind the scenes and whether there is more to all this than meets the eye.
Before I continue with the video, I want to mention something. For those of you using Binance and holding BNB, there is currently an interesting opportunity. Binance has just announced a fresh round of their hodler Airdrop program, and this time it features Bubblemaps BMT. Here is how it works. If you had your BNB staked through either Simple Earn or on-chain yields at any point between March 2nd and March 6th, you're automatically eligible to receive free BMT tokens. No need to sign up or complete any tasks. Binance will distribute the tokens directly to your spot wallet before trading officially opens. It's the one of the situations where you're already holding BNB, it's essentially passive rewards landing in your account without any extra effort. Now, what makes Bubblemaps itself quite interesting is the actual utility and transparency they bring to the crypto space. They have developed one of the leading tools right now for visually analyzing token ecosystems, helping users uncover any suspicious wallet activity or shady tokens distributions. Think of it as an on-chain investigation tool, a visual way to see how tokens are being moved and who might be pulling strings behind the scenes. Bubblemaps is planning to push things even further by introducing a community-driven approach through something they're calling the Intel Desk. The idea is to let users decide what tokens or projects should be investigated next. And importantly, the BMT token itself will play a central role in unlocking premium features in their upcoming Bubblemaps V2 platform, so it's more than just another token floating around. So if you're already staking BNB, definitely check if you qualify for the airdrop. It's basically free value being handed out to you just for holding and staking like you normally would. It's always nice to get something extra. Now let's continue with the video. What's really fascinating is how pro-Bitcoin everything is becoming lately. But strangely, a big chunk of the crypto community doesn't seem to realize it. There is this weird split, almost like two completely different mindsets coexisting. On one hand, you got governments, institutions, major companies all diving in headfirst, super bullish, openly embracing Bitcoin and the broader crypto space. On the other hand, you got the crypto OGs, the die-hard community members, and they are mostly nervous, skeptical, even bearish. Why is that? It all boils down to psychology and experience. The long-time community has been through multiple brutal cycles, they have seen crazy pumps followed by devastating crashes, so the moment there is even a small correction, they immediately fear the worst, another bear market. Meanwhile, the institutions and big players don't carry that baggage. They're seeing the big picture and long-term opportunities without flinching at the short-term volatility. Another key reason for this split is the difference in approach. The early crypto crowd tends to be idealistic, focused on grand ideas, decentralization, a big vision of disrupting the world. They thrive on the new concepts, the next NFT trend, a new DeFi protocol, a fresh Web3 game. If there is no shiny new thing, it feels stagnant to them. But institutions, governments and Web2 giants entering Web3, they think a little bit differently. They're not idea chasers, they're implementers. They're looking at all the existing innovations and seeing one thing, scale. For them, crypto isn't lacking ideas, it's lacking global adoption. And that's where the endless potential is. Take payments, for example. We have already efficient, fast, cheap stablecoin transfers. The tech is here. The use case is proven. But is everyone using it? No. Millions of people working abroad, sending money home are still relying on outdated, expensive systems. The infrastructure is ready, adoption just haven't caught up yet. Same goes for financial markets. Decentralized exchanges, automated market makers, DeFi protocols, they're powerful and they work. But are all stocks, bonds or assets being traded on-chain in real time? Not yet. For the institutions, this is the gold mine. They're excited because they see an entire global financial system being rebuilt on neutral, transparent, borderless infrastructure where settlement is instant, liquidity is shared, and anyone worldwide can participate. That's the difference in mindset. The crypto veterans are searching for the next big thing. The institutions are laser focused on rolling out what's already built to the masses. And honestly, closing that gap between potential and adoption is where the real excitement lies. Let's see some recent news before we get to something really fascinating. The Fed kept interest rates steady and confirmed they're still planning to cuts this year. Bitcoin reacted immediately, climbing over 3% while Ethereum surged 8%. But here is the catch. The Fed also downgraded US growth to 1.7% and raised inflation expectations to 2.8%. Economist Mohamed El-Erian warned the risk of recession in the US is now 25%, up from 10%. Trump's new 25% tariffs on Canada, Mexico, China, and possibly the EU are adding more inflation pressure, fueling market uncertainty. Bottom line, markets are relieved for now, but big macro risks still loom, especially around inflation and Trump trade wars. Now let's talk about really interesting part in this video. There is a new so-called prophecy circulating, though technically it's more like a cryptic message than an actual prophecy. It was originally shared on November 6, 2024, around 4 months ago, and the post came from Josh Mann, who preferred it by saying he hopes he's earned enough credibility for people to take it seriously this time. According to him, this time is different because the fourth turning is upon us. He even specifies the key dates, starting from Thursday, November 7th, and then pointing to January 16 as when this prophecy kicks into motion. But the part that caught everyone's attention is the mention of March 14th, just a few days ago, and he writes, when 84 becomes the base, Bitcoin calls will melt their face. His advice, load up on IBIT calls, IBIT being Bitcoin ETF, and go big, 10 to 1 size. Ride the surge as the stock rockets, sell the calls, exercise and repeat. There is also a nod to Pistol Pete and some cryptic instructions, look every day at the close and lows. When 84 is on the dot, the car will launch. Now here's where things get a little bit crazy. If you check Bitcoin's price on March 14th and specifically the candle closed at midnight, something crazy stands out. At the low of the close, Bitcoin hit exactly $84,000. Sure, there is always a few dollars difference across exchanges, but it's uncanny how precise this was, almost down to the second. I've honestly never seen a price prediction line up perfectly in real time, and it could be just a coexistence, but the odds are slim. But wait, it gets even more interesting. Josh Mann's post continues with a bit of poetic riddle. A real shot, filled with G's, hear the roar, the coin won't stop, 360 more. A trio of fours, try times a grand, 444,000, that's the top. Bitcoin fades, this is how cowboy trades, a nation stayed down by the sea, I think I'd call it empathy. No room for hate nor jealousy, essentials they would be on me. Work if you want, but just for fun, think in the shade, play in the sun. It paints a picture almost like a roadmap. He suggests Bitcoin's run isn't stopping at $84,000. There is a reference to 360 more, possibly implying an additional move upwards, followed by the bold target of $444,000. At the same time, there is a mention of a nation-state, hints at minimalism, and a life philosophy sprinkled into between the trading advice. Now, is this just a clever poetry and numerology, or are there something even more? Either way, it's got people paying attention, especially after that precise 84,000 close. If we scroll back to the comments beneath the original post, someone pointed out something interesting after the 84,000 prediction came true. They said that the real target isn't 84,000, it's actually 444,000, and that everything up until then is just a part of the ride. Josh Mann himself chimed in to confirm that. He clarified, yes, the final target is 444,000, and to back it up, he pointed to his open source portfolio. What's fascinating is that his portfolio shows a short position of $85,000 MicroStrategy call options, which he held during Bitcoin's climb from around 15,000 up to 84,000. In other words, while the market was ripping higher, he was shorting MSTR calls, essentially betting against its rise, until Bitcoin hit that 84,000 mark he had previously mentioned. To put it into perspective, he started with 2.1 million, and now that portfolio sits at $23 million. Regardless of whether you buy into the prophecy or think it's all nonsense, You have to respect the fact that he pulled off some serious trading moves, especially with options. And here is the kicker. Just a few days ago, after nailing the short, he flipped long again. So now his position for the next leg up. Whether the 444,000 call plays out remains to be seen, but the track record so far is impressive. Naturally, after something like this plays out so precisely, people started asking the obvious questions. How did you do this? How is this even possible? Who could you have known? Josh Mann actually gave an answer, and it's unusual, to say the least. Here's what he said. He admitted he initially tried to rationalize it, but tried to figure out if these predictions could somehow be explained by understanding market cycles, technical patterns, insider knowledge, or some kind of system. But according to him, that's not the case. Instead, he claims that his predictions are based on something far stranger, a very specific memory from something that to him happened 30 years ago. And here is where it gets wild. It seems like he's describing a kind of memory from the future. Almost as if for reason unknown even to him, he remembers like today events if they happened decades ago, specifically recalling how things played out. It's like he's mentally living in 2055, looking back to this exact moment. So when he predicted Bitcoin closing at $84,000 on March 14th, it hasn't based on analysis. It was more like recalling a fact from the past or future, depending on how you look at it, and he even admits that he doesn't entirely understand how or why this happens to him. But what's more interesting is that his reaction as things started unfolding exactly as he'd remembered. He said that if Bitcoin really closed at 84,000 on the dot, then he would have no choice but to take time off, contact his family, and prepare to share a message, one he's clearly hesitant about. He even mentions being worried that people might think he's either crazy or even heretical, depending on their perspective. But he's adamant that this all plays out. It's not about him being a genius or some trading legend, it's about delivering a message he feels obligated to share. Now the intriguing and maybe unsettling part is that he doesn't specify what the message is. But the fact that it's bothering him enough to warn people ahead of the time makes you wonder if it's something we're not going to like. Let me know in the comments what you think about all of this. Is it just a prediction, a prophecy, or something else entirely? Honestly, I'm not even sure what to call it. I'll just leave it here and let you decide. Personally, I found the whole thing fascinating, and I thought it was worth sharing with you all. Curious to hear your thoughts.
So what do you think? Are we witnessing just another wild crypto story, or is there something deeper to play here? Something that's driving governments, institutions, and even cryptic traders towards the same endgame. One thing is for sure, the lines between coincidence, psychology, and market power are getting blurrier by the day. Drop your thoughts in the comments, bullish, bearish, or downright skeptical. And as always, stay sharp, stay focused, and stack sats. I'll see you in the next video.